3 years. That's what I was told. By all of my associates, by those who I spoke to in the field, by those who had gone to schools, those who had gone up to other institutions, with the hopes, the dreams, the aspirations of leaving their mark, of growing the institution, of leading it in the new path, of improving on what was, they all told me 3 years. They said, don't expect to see anything until 3 years at the very least. They said 1 year you'd need just to come in and get the lay of the land. Understand who's who, what's what, understand what was working well, what perhaps needed improvement, understand the culture of the place, what makes it tick, what makes it go. Then they said you need a second year. A second year to start fiddling with the pieces. To start trying things out, experimenting, seeing what could you make better, how could we make things a little different, where can we improve, where can we strengthen. But they said and they cautioned me it doesn't always work. Right? And your first try, your first go round may not always be the most successful. So they said give it at least 3 years. By that third year, with a lot of luck, they said, you may well begin to see things coming together. You know, I don't think I quite understood. I heard it enough times, but I don't think I quite understood. And here, I think the challenge was particularly strong. You see, when we came into this school, when I came here 3 years ago, there was so much, particularly in our high schools, that was going so well. There were so many things that I saw that were special here. In fact, that's what brought me here. There were so many things that I saw the first time I laid eyes on this school that I had never seen in any other school that I had been to. And so the challenge was, how do we begin to improve? How do we raise the academic bar? But at the same time, giving the support to those students who need it, as the school has done so well in the past. How do we create greater accountability? How do we create greater regulations within the school, with students living up to their responsibilities without detracting one iota from the warmth, from the specialness, from the closeness of the relationships between teacher and students, between administrators, teachers, students, and parents? How do we do that? How do we keep what we've got, yet bring it to the next level? That was the challenge. And I'll tell you, it has not been without failure. It hasn't been without mistakes. It hasn't been without a process of learning, without that tinkering that they all told me to expect. Well, I can tell you that it gives me tremendous joy, tremendous excitement to look around at a packed room and welcome all of you to what is my third year. A third year where we feel, and you simply have to walk down the hallways of either our boys' school or our girls' school, walk into one of the classrooms, speak to a student, speak to a parent, and we really feel like we're hitting our stride. We feel like the pieces are coming together. We feel like the things that we've been working on are beginning to gel. We're seeing something come out, a greater whole that really goes beyond our wildest expectations. Because it's not simply that we've raised the academic bar, and I imagine most of you at this point have seen the material we've put out there. Our SAT scores, thank God, are going through the roof. It ranks us amongst the top 10% of high schools in the country. Yes, that's not in the city, but in the country. We're getting students into colleges, and great ones at that. Our students are flying. We've added critical thinking to various pieces of our curriculum. We've raised the academic bar. We've tightened the screws in some places. We've created greater student accountability. Yet what I'm most proud of is that what makes this school so special is not only still there, but growing. Those elements which separate us from any school that I know, the warmth, the closeness, the camaraderie, the sense of community, a place where people really care for each other and help each other grow, that's still here, It's growing, it's getting stronger day by day. And so once again, it is tremendously an honoring for me, and it's a privilege to have you all here and welcome you to our open house for 2009. Let me quickly walk you through our program for this evening. We're going to start moving and hopefully keep the program rather short and hopefully leave you wanting to hear more. As you've hopefully picked up this program on your way in this evening, along with a packet that is filled with all sorts of information that you'll look at and digest on your own time. It includes our curricula, it includes samples of our daily schedule, and all sorts of other things that you may be interested in. We'll let you work through that at your leisure. This evening, our program will be as follows. In just a moment, I'm going to hand the podium over to Dr. Ellen Taven, known to others as Ellen Stecker, who is going to talk to you for a few minutes, give you a parent's perspective on this school, both our boys' school and our girls' school. After Dr. Taven, we are all going to stay right here. We're going to dim the lights for a multimedia, half slideshow and music, half live presentation featuring our senior class that will focus in on several elements of what we believe make this school so unique. We will then split up. And students, we will kick you guys out at that point. You'll go over to the first classroom next door, pick up your popcorn, your soda, and you guys will have your own movie that you're going to watch in there. You'll hang out with our students for a little while. They're going to have a presentation for you. They're going to, they together with Rabbi Gersten, and who better to do it than Rabbi Gersten, and will field all of your questions, anything under the sun. That'll be over in the Beit Midrash classroom. Parents will hang out here a little bit. We'll break for a minute. You'll help yourself to a drink, to a cookie. We'll sit back down, and at that point, we will present both Rabbi Lebetsky, our upper school principal, and the person who keeps the closest eye on the boys, and then Mrs. Camp, who keeps an ever-watchful eye over our girls. Each of them will speak to you, and then we will open it up to you for adult questions as well. And with that, we'll wrap it off, send you on your way, and again, send you, hopefully, wanting to hear more and wanting to come back. So, without further ado, it is a real pleasure for me to hand the podium over to Dr. Taven. Ellen is a parent who comes to this podium with a rather unique perspective, and having moved to this community a number of years ago and made the decision that she wanted a Jewish education for her children at the next level, she has since enrolled 3 students in our high schools. One, Andrew, who has graduated last year, scored a nearly perfect score on his SATs, received the prestigious presidential, or was accepted into the Presidential Scholars Program at New York University, where he attends right now. Although Andrew accomplished a tremendous amount, including 4 years with us of Chinese and several other accomplishments along the way, Ellen Taven also has 2 more students following right behind him, one in the boys' school, one in the girls' school, each outdoing each other, and really tremendous students in all regards, and thus has quite a bit to offer each and every one of us this evening. So again, without further ado, it is my pleasure to present and to thank Dr. Ellen Taven for presenting to us this evening.
As Rabbi Pearl said, my family and I moved here in August of 2006. We spent 1 year in the Doubletree and then left for school the next morning. Jonathan and Madeline started 8th grade and Andrew started 10th grade. So I have the perspective that I will fortunately have had 2 of my children here for 4 years and Andrew got 3 years here. And they were 3 really wonderful years for him. Part of our decision, we made the decision at the end of 8th grade that Andrew would start at a secular private school in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where we lived. And it was kind of a Lausanne equivalent. It was a co-ed private school, and that was the school where the Jewish kids went. You know, there is one in every town. There's some places where you don't go, and then there's some places where the Jewish kids